What's up, guys? It is a beautiful day in late October, and we are going to fire up the Iron 6 and see how it sounds. Now, I haven't fired it up in about a month and a half, so let's do it. Just a side note, there is a massive hole in the muffler, which I have grown quite fond of. Got temporary fuel set up, ready to rock and roll. Pump her up a few times and give her a go. Right. I love that sound. Not bad for just a straight 6. Check this out. I want to show you something. You know what this is? This is the aftermath of one heck of a fight. This right here used to be brake drum. Rest in pieces. On focus. I sometimes reach a point when filming this vlog that I have to turn the camera off. Even though the content of this vlog is pretty mediocre, it still takes a good bit of time to pull it off. So what I mean by that is, taking off one brake drum and filming it takes just as long as removing 3 brake drums and not filming it. That might be a bit of an exaggeration, but you get my point. Meet me somewhere in the middle there. But man, oh man, do I wish I had at least filmed the 4th and final brake drum I took off, because it was a doozy of a knockdown, drag out fight. So you guys saw me take off this brake drum and remove all this stuff in last week's vlog. I went ahead and removed the other 3. This one, incredibly easy to get off. It had only the wheel cylinder inside. The brake shoes are missing, the springs are missing, so yeah, not sure what's going on there. On a side note, finding things like missing brake shoes and springs and things like that, for whatever reason, it fascinates me. It's just another aspect of having a project car that I get enjoyment out of. It makes me wonder things like, who was the last person to have it? What were they doing? Were they trying to restore it? I don't know, it just fascinates me. The second of the 3 brake drums I did not film taking off was pretty dang tough. This one was much harder than the first one you saw in last week's vlog. Really put up a fight, but I did get it off. And you guessed it, the last brake drum that had to come off was indeed absolutely the worst one to get off. Satan himself, I think, put it on. It was an absolute nightmare. This is what a rear brake drum should look like when it's taken off properly. This one was pretty tough, but I got it off with some elbow grease. This is the wreckage from the last brake drum that I took off. You can see here the difference in the profile there. Pretty much the entire edge was destroyed by pounding it off with a hammer. Believe me, I did not want to do this, but that's what it came down to. Now, there are a ton of YouTube videos out there on how to remove a stuck brake drum, and I probably watched 80 to 90% of them when dealing with this brake drum. Now I'm going to show you what it was that worked for me, and this was, I think, of everything I tried, this was actually the only thing that worked. I really don't think the other stuff I did even helped. It might have helped a little. Another side note, I just realized that there is a patch panel here that I never noticed before. Let's pretend, for the sake of this demonstration, that the brake drum was still on. The things that I tried. First thing I did was sprayed everything, all the areas with PB Blaster, and let it soak for a while. Then I tried putting a wooden block up against the lip and beating on it with the hammer. That did not work. Now on the other side, hitting it directly with the hammer worked and it came off. So when I tried doing that with this brake drum, it started cracking to pieces. So I got out the torch and I heated up this surface for a very long time and turned it off, went back with the hammer, and it still would not budge. And at that point, I got pretty much destroyed the entire diameter of the brake drum. What finally worked was I realized, now when this is properly on there, I didn't want to put it on all the way because I didn't want it to get stuck, but take this off. When the brake drum is on here all the way, The center of the brake drum, this lip, has a good bit of travel along the hub here. What I ended up having to do was I realized that there was a lot of rust built up, and I did hit it with a wire brush to begin with, but I didn't hit it nearly hard enough. So I hit it really good with a wire brush, and then I soaked this surface in PB Blaster, let it sit for about a minute, and then after I did that, just tapping it with the hammer got it to move. So it was being hung up on this rust around here. Basically, I cleaned up the area of travel that it had to come across. The minute I did that, the thing came off pretty easily. In fact, I don't think I chipped any other pieces off of it once I did that. So I don't know, if anybody out there is having issues, you might want to try that. Really buggered that up. All the brakes are in pretty rough shape. The rear passenger side here, the self-adjusting cable here, rusted in half, not much left of it. So I'm realizing that I'm gonna have to spend some money on brake hardware kits. So I'm piling more money up, but I don't really know what else to do at this point. It's not like you can go without that stuff. On another side note, the springs and stuff from the first brake drum I took off in last week's episode are still soaking in the vinegar, and they are cleaning up quite nicely. Let me show you these. What I've been doing is letting them soak in the cleaning vinegar, and everything is pretty much cleaned up, so that's something to think about. Cleaning vinegar is really cheap. It's safer than a lot of the chemicals that you can use to do this kind of stuff. I don't know how different it is than regular vinegar, but I'm fairly certain it is safer than a lot of the chemical cleaners they have out there. But pretty amazed at this, and I haven't touched these other than just letting them soak in this cleaning vinegar, and I think maybe they haven't been in here for quite a week. Might as well just let this stuff continue to soak and get cleaned up. Pretty cool. I'm actually working on a little side video right now, doing a test where I am soaking one of the parts I took off this car in cleaning vinegar for a month to see what happens to it. So that will be coming out in maybe 3 weeks, I think, if everything goes well. So can't wait to see the results of that. But yeah, got that coming down the line. And I think that's all I have for you this week. Shorter video this week. The last two were a little bit longer. Making progress. Not a lot, but making progress. So until the next episode, take care.